Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, I did a video recently about the pricing for the upcoming 2024 Toyota Tacoma. And a lot of the comments, people said that they weren't going to buy that Tacoma. They were going to switch. They were going to go to something else. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to compare what the cost of ownership is on these other two trucks, the top two that I hear on the channel, that folks are going to switch to, just to see if indeed it makes sense to go from the Toyota Tacoma to something else. Now, pricing wasn't the only driver. People also are very opposed to the four-cylinder turbo that's coming, even though the number two truck out there, which we're not going to go over, is the Ford Ranger, and it's a turbo 4. Now, I say we're not going to go over that because I never hear in the comments that people are going to switch from the Tacoma to the Ford Ranger. It's just not something we Tacoma owners do, right? The most popular two beyond the Tacoma are the Colorado and the Frontier, with the Frontier typically being the one that people say they're going to buy first if they're not going to get a Tacoma. And by the way, the Colorado and the Frontier both have V6 engines in them. So let's talk about cost of ownership. I'm not going to go through every single number, but we'll look at the first year, and then we'll look at the final cost for 5 years of ownership. Now, this is based on 15,000 miles per year, and then I have two different numbers for you as totals, both with financing and without. So if you just go in and pay cash, or you decide to sign up for one of those loans. This is for the 2022 Tacoma and Frontier in Colorado, by the way, because we don't have full 2023 numbers yet, because we're still in 2023. So let's take a look. There are, it looks like 7 categories. They are insurance, maintenance, repairs, taxes and fees, financing, depreciation, and fuel. So year one for the Toyota Tacoma, insurance. And of course, this is going to vary based upon your driving record. You know, if you're a heavy pedal hitter or maybe accident prone, yours could vary. But on average, year one, $1,423. Maintenance cost, $64. That's got to be just an oil change, because what else are you going to have to do maintenance on? You're fully covered for 3 years anyway. Repairs, $0. Taxes and fees, $2,626. That's, of course, when you buy it and all that stuff. Financing, if you go that route, costs you $3,412 for that year, the first year. Depreciation, $6,587. Isn't that horrible? You go in, you pay all this money, and right away you just lost, what, $6,500, almost $6,600 on the truck. Fuel, $2,340. The cost total for the first year, $16,452. Now, if we pull out financing, you know, if you went in and wrote a check, maybe you hit the lottery or something, especially where those prices are. And by the way, the link to that new pricing video is down below if you want to check it out. But without financing in it, $13,040. Now, we're going to skip all the way to the end. We're going to run through the totals of 5 years for the Toyota Tacoma. So, back to insurance. 5-year total, $7,631. Maintenance, $5,265. Repairs, $770. Taxes and fees, $2,870. That's for like license, registration, all that kind of stuff. Financing, if you went that route, $10,088. Ooh. Depreciation, $12,007 after 5 years. And lastly, fuel, $12,424. A grand total with financing and everything else I just mentioned in it, $51,055. By the way, I should mention this is based on a TRD off-road 4x4 double cab short bed Toyota Tacoma. Now, if we take out the financing part of it, it'll cost you $40,967 over that lifespan, I guess, or 5-year span of having the truck. Now, let's take a look. If we compare this to the Colorado, With financing, it's $2,623 less than if you were to buy a Colorado and keep it over that 5-year period. With no financing, $2,991 less than the Colorado. Now, real quick, let's take a look at the Colorado and the Frontier. We're going to start with the Frontier because it seems to be the #1 option when not going with a Tacoma. We're going to do the same thing. Year 1, insurance going to cost you $1,332, a little bit less than the Toyota Tacoma. Maintenance, $395. That is more than the Tacoma. Repairs, again, 0. Taxes and fees, $2,680. Financing, $3,484. Depreciation, $7,843. Quite a bit more than the Toyota Tacoma. You're going to lose more money in the first year in depreciation if you buy that Frontier. Fuel, $2,462. For a grand total, first year with financing, $18,196 as compared to $16,452 on the Tacoma. Get rid of the financing cost because, again, you wrote that check and paid for it. Maybe you took a big wad of cash in there. $14,712 versus $13,040. The 5-year total for the Frontier. Insurance, $7,144. Maintenance, $5,455. Repairs, $770. They're marking that the same as the Tacoma. Taxes and fees, $2,924. Financing, $10,031. Depreciation, $17,528. That's as compared to $10,088 for the Tacoma. You're going to lose a lot more money there. Fuel, $13,071 for a grand total with financing of $57,193. That's compared to $51,055 for the Tacoma. Get rid of the financing, $46,892. That's a 5-year total cost to own on the Frontier versus $40,967. Lastly, let's take a quick look at the Colorado. Same thing, insurance, $1,443. $262 for maintenance, 0 repair cost. Taxes and fees, $2,534. Financing, $3,288. Depreciation, $6,934. That's versus $6,587. Fuel, $2,462 for a grand total, first year, $16,923 versus $14,452. Not a huge difference there. If you get the financing out of there, $13,635 versus $13,040. Now, the 5-year totals for the Nissan Frontier: insurance, $7,739. Maintenance, $4,864. Repairs, $910. Taxes and fees, $2,778. Financing, $9,720. Depreciation, $14,596. That's versus $12,007 with the Toyota Tacoma. We all know the Tacoma holds its value much better, right? Fuel cost, $13,071. True cost, 5 years, in the Frontier, $53,678 with financing, $51,055 for the Toyota Tacoma. And lastly, without financing in that number, $4,958 for the Frontier. I should say $43,958. And for the Tacoma, $40,967. Now, to compare the total cost, just to give you a quick number, $6,138 less than the Frontier if you finance the Tacoma. This is over 5 years. And $5,925 less than the Frontier if you don't finance. So in the end, I guess, if you don't like the pricing of the new Tacoma, or maybe the 4-cylinder turbo engine, and you want to go to that Frontier, it'll cost you over 5 years $6,138 more if you finance it. Not too bad, really, in comparing it with the others out there. So you got to get what you like. For me, I would prefer to keep that $6,100 in my pocket, even though that's over 5 years. Still, I don't want to spend the time in the shop having those repairs done either. Leave a comment. Let me know. Does this alter your decision a little bit, or it doesn't matter? You don't like what they're putting out on this new Tacoma price-wise, engine-wise, and you're going to go with a Frontier or a Colorado? Leave a comment. I'd be curious. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.